Hello and welcome to another episode of Keep It Movin'. For the first time, we are doing something new today. Totally new. We're going international to the UK, and I have my lovely guest here with me, Lucy. Lucy, say hi to the people.
Hi everyone, you okay?
All right. So, Lucy and I, just a little backdrop on the story. We connected on Instagram. I'm promoting and posting my inspirational quotes, and Lucy was inspired by it. She really liked what I was doing, and
Absolutely.
gave me some love, gave me some props, and we ended up just having random conversation that led up to her pain and purpose story, and I found it to be quite interesting. And I sent you a DM and said, "Hey, you want to tell that story?" And you responded and let me know. I would love to.
Yes,
And
I certainly did.
yeah, and that was great. So here we are. Here we
Here we
are, ready
are.
to make it happen. It's actually right now. It's nighttime where you are, right?
That's right. Yeah. So it's 1922. So it's evening time at the moment. Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, all right. Like I said, I appreciate this. I don't know what you did today, what your day held, but to take this time out outside of your regular routine scheduling to drop some jewels on us and share an impactful story, I appreciate that. So, with that being said, I appreciated the phone call we had yesterday.
I
Uh,
appreciate it too. It was lovely to talk to you.
Yeah. But just getting accustomed to it, and I'm glad we are where we are right now. And
Yeah,
boy, you got some stuff to share with the people.
I
Yeah,
do. I
yeah,
do. That's
yeah.
right.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and get started. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, Lucy, where you're living at right now, and we'll proceed forward and get into the meat of things. Telling us your
Yeah.
story, some of the things that were obstacles in your life, and
Yes.
how you overcame them.
That's right. Well, so my name's Lucy and I'm 38 and I live in a town called Stalybridge in Greater Manchester. I rent my own property and I have three children that I live with and a cat and a dog. So it's all fun and games. So yeah, I'm currently back at college, studying counselling at the moment to help people in recovery, drink and drug recovery and addiction. I unfortunately started using drugs, cocaine, recreationally with my friends at a weekend. And then my nan got very poorly, and my nan was my absolute love of my life. And I took that really, really bad. And I was using cocaine then to mask the grief and having to watch somebody you love die. I found it very, very difficult, but I went about the complete and utter wrong way. I was using drink and drugs to thinking it was helping me and self-medicating, and it wasn't. It led to a darker times for me, and I wasn't going to make it out. I wasn't going to
Got
make
it.
it out.
Now, when you say your name, you're talking about your mom.
My nan, no, so my nan died about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay,
And
for the people that are here in America, is that equivalent to your mom, your dad? What is that?
grandma,
Oh,
grandma,
grandma. Okay.
yeah, my
All right.
grandma, yeah.
Okay. My
What it was with my grandma, and my granddad. My life was they were the two biggest loves of my life,
mhm.
and no matter what happened in my life, my mum and dad separating and various other things that happened as I grew up as a child. My nan and granddad stayed the exact same in the exact same house
Mhm.
and was a rock for me. So my granddad died first, but then when my nan died, having to watch her have breast cancer,
Mhm.
and it come back, and then in the end, she passed away. I found that very, very difficult, because I felt like I didn't have my rock anymore. So, I just went into complete turmoil, and I was
Yeah.
trying to pretend everything was okay, and it wasn't. It wasn't. I was unwell, really unwell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dealing with grief, dealing with grief it's a tough process. I lost 7 brothers. Lost my mother. Lost my father. I lost my grandmother as well. And, I'm still processing that and dealing with
Yeah,
that
yeah,
occasionally. But I've done everything, and I'm doing everything that I need to do in order to make myself whole, to be able to, move on with life without
yes,
having that phantom grief to appear in my day to day life and cause me to
yes,
crash out and do some things that are negative, such as what you're speaking about.
yes.
So cocaine was the drug of choice, huh?
It was. Yes, it was. It was. It was my absolute downfall in
Hmm.
life.
Okay.
It was. The cravings for it are absolutely horrendous,
Hmm.
and they are so intense, and you can't seem to. You get very
Hmm.
agitated when you can't get hold of the drug,
Hmm.
or somebody says they're going to drop it off and then they don't turn up, and you seem to be very um you just very it's just very, very difficult. It's a place where I would never ever want to be ever again. It was hell. It was a living hell.
How often were you using it?
So as much as I could get my hands on it, so as much as I could afford, I got myself into debt. And it comes to we could get hold of it every night. So it was taking over my life. It really did take over my life, and I was drinking heavily as well,
Hmm.
and having to, and the thing was, I was functioning, so I was carrying on going to work and
Hmm.
doing, like, getting on my responsibilities and
Hmm.
cracking on. Everything was okay, and
Hmm.
I wasn't. It was a complete and utter lie,
Hmm.
and I was getting more and more agitated and worked up because I
Hmm.
realised that I was heavily addicted to this drug.
Hmm.
And I thought, I don't know, I'm going to get out of this. I thought if I go to, an NA meeting or an AA meeting, someone's going to see me.
Hmm.
I'm going to lose everything. I was struggling financially, and I didn't feel like there was anybody that I could open up to and tell them really what was going on.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it led to me one night going out, and I was going to end it. I was going to end my life, and that
Oh
that
boy,
was the breaking point for me.
that was your
Um,
low. That was your low point, huh?
yeah, that was my lowest in my life. I went
Hmm.
out one night. It was raining heavily. It was pitch black, and I went out to get it.
Hmm.
And I thought, I just thought, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I was at
Hmm.
the steering wheel, and I was crying my eyes out, and it was just horrendous. And I pulled up onto this lay-by, and I was sobbing, absolutely sobbing. And I got out of my car, and I begged God for forgiveness. I begged him. I said, please, please, I don't want to be here anymore. I've made a mistake. I can't turn to anybody else. I'm so ashamed.
Hmm.
It was absolutely, I was on my own on this lay-by. It was cold, and I was just screaming out for help. It felt like my soul had lit up and sent a firework to heaven. That's how it felt. It was that intense,
Hmm.
and that emotional for me.
Were you
And
high at
just,
this time, or you were trying to get high?
I just picked it up, and I just thought,
Okay.
what am I doing? I thought, what am I doing?
So you weren't
What?
intoxicated. You
No,
you
not
were
at the
you were in your
time.
natural state of mind at this time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And but I ended up taking it. I ended up taking it afterwards.
Mm. Okay.
It was awful. It had a hold on me. It had a real hold on me.
Okay.
And I was too ashamed and embarrassed to speak to my family about it. In the end, I eventually told my friends, but it wasn't until the later days, you know, when I sat with my head in my hands. My friend was just getting married, and she asked me to be the witness, and I just sat there with my head in my hands, and I said I can't do it, and she said, "What do you mean?" And I said, and I told her, and I said I sat there with my head in my hands, and I went, "Mate, I don't want to be here." And she just looked at me and she went, "What do you mean?" And I said, "I don't want to be here anymore." I said, "I don't want to be here." And she just burst into tears, and that's when we sat down and we spoke about things, you know.
So your friend actually assisted you and gave you the comfort that you needed and assistance you needed in order to talk you off that
Yes.
mission of suicide, which is
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well,
that's
thank God
right.
for her, right? Thank God for
Yeah,
her, right?
yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It was awful. And I felt so disappointed and so ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
Um and you know, because everybody seemed to be doing so well around me, and I wasn't, and I was just pretending everything was okay, and
Mm-hmm.
I was waking up with absolute dread,
Mm-hmm.
in my heart, in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of nights after, as I was going to sleep, um, it it was a spiritual awakening that happened to me. I can't describe it in any other way. So as you're going to sleep, you know, like you think you're dreaming, and
Mm-hmm.
I shut my eyes and I saw something move towards me. So I jumped, you know, and went, oh, you know, where am I? What was that? I thought, oh, I must be dreaming. And I shut my eyes again,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw this big man. All I can say, he was really broad. His muscles were big. He
Mm-hmm.
was really tall, and he
Mm-hmm.
walked over, but
Mm-hmm.
really calmly. He moved like this with his shoulders because he was that big,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt this utmost peace. And he held out his hand and he said, really reassuringly, he said, "Come with me, my daughter."
Mm-hmm.
And I held his hand and I felt his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I held his hand and I saw myself walk off into the darkness. And from the next day after that, I never touched cocaine since. Never.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just over a year ago. And I knew that was God. I knew that was God and that my prayers had been answered.
So that was your
And
turning point at that time.
that was my turning point. That was my turning
Yeah.
point. And I thought, you have given me a second chance. And the next day, I didn't feel alone anymore. I didn't feel alone. I felt like he was right there with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I got through that first day, not drinking and not ringing up anybody, trying to get hold of cocaine. And that was the first day. And once I'd done that first day,
Mm-hmm.
I knew I could do it then. I knew I could do it. And it was about getting up a good routine. And what I actually did was I separated myself
Correct.
from other people, people who I thought, you know, didn't want to change. It was inconvenience for them, for me to change. In
It's good that
essence,
you, yeah, it's good that you say that. That's big because when you make a transition from cocaine and drinking, um, you need to separate yourself from the people that were in your life that were doing it with you or still continuing to do it, because
yeah,
that's just too much temptation. That's very, very uh,
absolutely.
tempting for you to easily just slip and fall back into your old habits and old practices.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, sometimes, being that they are in their addiction, the more people that are doing it, the more resources they have to
Absolutely.
to continue to be able to use it at a time when they may not have the money or the outlet to be able to buy the drugs or alcohol. So to group you in with them, it's a benefit to them. And was
Absolutely.
it that? Was this something that you thought of on your own? Okay, I need to change this environment, or did you start seeking some help and they told you that you
No.
needed to do this?
What I seeked was the Lord. After that, and I went actually on my own for a good, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks, where I didn't see
Mm-hmm.
any of my friends at all. I went
Mm-hmm.
completely on my own.
Okay.
Obviously, I had children, so I saw my children, but it was basically, I just completely disconnected
Mm-hmm.
from all the people that I knew
Mm-hmm.
because I had to find myself again. And I did not want people around me that was using or was ringing me up. People knew that I'd stopped and they
Mm-hmm.
were still ringing me up, asking me to get it for them.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, because it goes back to what I was saying. People who are using, they don't want to lose you, because to lose you, that's a resource. That's an avenue when they don't have.
Yeah, that's it. I had some crosswords with somebody who did that, and I said, I can't believe you were ringing me up, asking me for it when you know that it's took me a long time to get here, and I've never
Mm-hmm.
spoken to that person since.
So you had to change up your habits, and part of doing that is first, you became conscious of it, and with the divine intervention, and that's a very interesting story. Not a lot of people have that kind of awakening that
No,
comes directly from the source, the creator.
yeah,
You know,
and the
so
thing
there's something
was,
special about you.
well, thank you for that. At the time, I did not think that. I felt
Mm-hmm.
very, very unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of people that didn't see me, never give me a chance. I wanted to try. I've never really fitted into society.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I
Mm-hmm.
tried too hard, and I think it pushed people away. So when I isolated myself and just went into prayer and went into walks in nature and talked to the Lord a lot and worked through a lot of things, when it was just, in essence, in my head, I was with him. So I went to the secret place with him
Mm-hmm.
and I just spoke to him like an old friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember specifically thinking, I have to prove myself to God now because he saved me. I have to
Mm-hmm.
prove myself. And he corrected me and said, Lucy, I already know who you are. I've already made you. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need to prove yourself to me. I can already see your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to, you just need to be, yourself. And there was something that came up on my TikTok and my social media, and it said about God being my master. And he corrected that and he said, I don't want to be a master. I just want to be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very emotional for me
How
because
long have
I felt
how long have you been clean now?
it's just over a year. So it's a year and a couple of months, I'd say. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was in July I celebrated, or no, it was June
Mm-hmm.
that I celebrated my first year. And that was a big thing, a big thing.
Have you
Because
ever, in the process of your addiction, did you ever stop and then relapse?
before God, absolutely, I
Mm-hmm.
was trying all the time, But then when it come to a weekend or something had happened what I couldn't handle, maybe somebody had upset me, I'd be straight ringing somebody up again,
Right.
to numb myself and just drinking copious amounts of straight vodka.
Mm.
You know, it was absolutely a horrendous way to be. And then having to try and get up for your children in the morning, you know, it doesn't work. It
Yes.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I knew I was at risk of losing my children and losing my home and losing everything. So I was running out of time. And that's why I got into so much of a state, because it was like my soul was screaming and I was on the wrong life path. And I did not know how I was going to get out of it. I thought,
Okay.
there is nobody on this earth that can help me. So I went to the Lord.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. The first time when you quit, you know, people who are in your life, people who associate with you that are close to you, when you quit, they trust you. They believe you, that you're on the straight and narrow and you're clean. When you
Yes.
relapse, you lose a lot of that trust.
Yes.
Now, are those same people the people on the first round that were with you when you relapsed? And if so, what is your level of trust with them now that you've been clean for a year, that you're not going to relapse again?
Well, the people who I was taking drugs with and drinking, I no longer see.
Mm-hmm.
My friends,
No, I understand that. Yeah. Okay.
but my other friends have got some great trust in me, but they've also come and said to me, you know, they're still very, very protective over me. You know, if I was ever to go to a party, or my best friend has got a pub, you know, so it's like a bar. We have lots of pubs in Stalybridge and where I live. And
Okay.
she's a landlady. And she protects me if I go in there. And she
Mm-hmm.
actually did me a sober bar. So she did lots of mocktails and coffees and hot chocolates and
Mm-hmm.
things to support me. And
Okay.
I know that I only have about three to four friends. That's who I class as friends. I have a very, very small circle,
Mm-hmm.
because I was hurt and by a lot of people, and I had to create boundaries, because I was very much a people pleaser. If anybody asked me to do something, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it for you."
Yeah.
That had to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to look after myself
Mm-hmm.
and my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I put myself first, because I thought I need to put myself first to be a good mother. You know, if I wanted to meet somebody new in the future, which I have now, I've got a partner now called Chris, and we're getting married. I had to make drastic changes. So
Mm-hmm.
environment, the people I was spending time with, I had to build up boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
and say, no, I'm not accepting that behaviour from you. So,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
you have to go. So that was a lot of it. Once you've got away from those people and them habits, them social habits,
Mm-hmm.
then you've got a fighting chance then of sorting yourself out. So I left
Yeah.
the gym that I was at, the local gym. I went further
Mm-hmm.
afield and made new friends there. So I've moved around gyms a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I love chatting to people, but I tend to keep myself safe.
Good.
You know,
Good.
it was
Good for
only
you.
the other day I was speaking to somebody in the changing rooms, and she was going on saying that her husband can get hold of this drug, and I should try it. And I left that locker room quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for
You
you.
know,
Good for you. Yeah.
because I have been in that dark place, and that place
Mm-hmm.
was hell. That
Mm-hmm.
was a living hell. And
Mm-hmm.
by not telling anybody about my addiction initially, I've created my own prison,
Mm-hmm.
because the longer you leave something and you don't tell anybody about it, the harder it is to come out and say, I've got a problem. I've got a problem and I need you to help me, or I need some help. I need some support. And I left it too late, to the point where I thought I cannot live anymore. Everyone's better without me. I'm unworthy. Where have I become? What's happened to me? And I just hit this all-time low, and the
Do you think
pain.
do you think that sometimes people stay in their addiction a little longer when they know they need to get out and they're no longer enjoying it because they're not
Absolutely.
brave enough to be able to tell people that, hey, I'm in a very low place.
Yeah,
This is bad. My life
yeah,
has turned into a tragedy, and they just don't want to speak about it. They don't want to face it. Would you
yeah,
say it just the lack of courage?
yeah. It is. It's so hard to
Hmm.
have a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. You have to be true
Hmm.
to yourself and stop living a lie. It takes all of your strength and courage to move from that place where I was at, to move on in my life. I trusted God then with my life, and I let him lead me. So I regularly go to church. I pray. I pray I could be in the car and I'll speak to him like a friend. And I go to Bible study. I'm doing the Alpha course. At the end of
Hmm.
this month, I'm doing a healing course with my church as well. So I'm doing lots and lots of things to look after myself and self-care, because it is so important to look after yourself, and
Yes.
you've got to learn to love yourself again, because you've made this mistake where you can hardly look at yourself in the mirror,
Hmm.
and you have to love yourself enough to make these changes. Love yourself like your best friend. What would you do if your best friend was in that situation?
Hmm.
You would nurture them. You would make sure you were there for them. You'd show up for them, and that's what I did. I started to show up for myself. I started to go to the gym, and it wasn't I didn't have any grand ambitions of being really skinny and things like that. What I did was I ate well, but I didn't start reducing, carbohydrates and things like that. The main goal was to get off that cocaine and get off the drink. That was the
Yes.
main thing.
Yes.
So that took priority, and keeping
Yes.
myself safe.
Yes. Well, some people when they are on uh, mind altering substances such as cocaine and alcohol, you know, uh, it spoke about uh, these things being spirits, and they bring out
Yes.
different characteristics and actions and behavior in people. And some people get violent. Some
Oh
people
yeah.
start hallucinating.
Yeah.
Um, what was something that it did to you? Did it change you in any type of way? Did it make you a different person? And if so, who was that person? And could you detail like maybe a situation that may have happened when that person came out?
Yeah. So I never hallucinated off cocaine and
Okay.
drinking, but what it did do was my friends used to, well, my previous friends who I used to drink and use with, they used to call
Hmm.
me Lucifer, because if something happened where I had an altercation with somebody, um, I'd flip. They'd been a bit not to a million, and I would be violent. I wouldn't shy away from a fight.
Hmm.
I lifted a glass table and threw it
Hmm.
across the room. How? I did it by being 5'3", and this massive glass table. I picked it up and I threw it at this person. I truly believe that if you're drinking and taking drugs, that demons can attach themselves to you and bring out different characteristics.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I
Hmm.
said to my partner the other day, I said, if you drink, it lets them in. You are letting them in to control you. And I'm not taking accountability there. I really do believe that there's demonic forces, because I'm a Christian. And sometimes when you get that awful feeling that there's something around you, there's something lurking, like an unsettling feeling, like anxiety, or all of a sudden you feel grief for nothing, like it's like the darkness is coming, and and I completely changed when I had a drink.
What did that
Um,
look like? What did that look like when you had a drink and you changed? Give me an example of that.
my daughter actually said to me once she thought I was evil.
Really?
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, I actually thought one time, Mum, you was evil.
Mm,
Because somebody had said something that I didn't like. I thought they were belittling me, and I flipped.
mm,
And I had to have a good hard look at myself, and think I don't want to be this kind of mother. I don't want to be displaying that sort of parenting in front of my children. So I had to be really brave and courageous, and stop and get out of that lifestyle.
okay. Okay. Well, would you consider yourself as a at the time when you were using? Were you a hardcore user or were you a sociable user?
It started off as sociable, but
Hmm.
then it got to whatever money and any spare money that I had, because there was I was functioning, so bills were still getting paid.
Hmm.
But it was things like for hobbies and things like that. My friend said to me she never knew, because she said there was no change in. She said my clothes, everyone's clothes were clean, and she just didn't have a clue. There was always food in the fridge and stuff like that. But that's because I was hiding a secret, and with a secret, you don't want it to come out, so you're going to do everything to uphold
Yeah, this is
that,
true.
because I was embarrassed and ashamed. And
Yeah.
I did a very good job of covering up my addiction. So
What are
much
you?
so.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing now? Where are you at now? As far as work, any outreach? Are you working with any organizations? Are you doing anything community wise to give back?
So in the pipeline, so I've spent the last year working on myself, and
Hmm.
just doing bits of jobs in between my children, because two of my children, they have well, my daughter's got hip dysplasia, so she was homeschooled. So there's various appointments. She's having complete hip surgery. So I spent the last year just working where I can in between school hours with different bits of jobs and working on myself. And now I'm in a comfortable place where I'm back at college doing counselling. I am working with my church. My vicar is coming on Wednesday, and we are setting something up for people in the same side area who are struggling with alcohol and drug and addictions.
Good, good,
I
good.
am going to AA meetings,
Hmm.
and with my partner, to speak my truth and to listen to other people and to share my story and to listen to their stories. So I'm networking, and I'm trying to get qualifications behind me, as well as doing my social media, which is my recovery is on Instagram. So I filmed everything what I was doing, took pictures or did little videos to show people what I was doing to stay sober. And I've done that
Good,
since my recovery.
good, good. That's good for you. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. I think therapy is a much needed tool, um, just overall. But when you go through something as far as drug usage, may it be social, or if you go hardcore, alcohols, just overall substance abuse, um, therapy, and you know, getting a sponsor and having that outlet where you're going to support groups, it's big, and it's good. And I always tell people I speak from my experiences because there was a time when I used too in the early '80s. I used cocaine. I pretty much did like you and said, I got to change my life around. Got a light little stint, a few months in jail. And while I was there, it gave me the opportunity to get my thoughts right and get my life right, and came home and I never looked back.
Yeah,
But
that's amazing.
just in the 90s, it progressed to I exchanged one thing for another, not really knowing that, because we used to go to clubs, nightclubs, and would drink and dance and have a great time, but we're still I was still using you know uh, alcohol, which is another substance, and that got away from me, but it didn't get away from me to the point to where um, I was doing things uh, to have to go out and commit crimes or anything, or stealing from people to to drink or get the shakes or anything. I was a functioning alcoholic, is what I like to call it.
Yeah,
And had another setback, and when I had that setback of another incarceration, I was and I after that came home, did it really really lightly, and now I haven't touched a drink in over 3 years. I don't do
that's
anything. I've been
amazing.
clean, and life is good, So I commend you, and I'm glad we had an opportunity to sit down and get this done, because your story was, to me, very interesting. And like I said to you, the whole mission here is to talk about people's, woes and the mistakes that they've made, so that we can give people information so that, you know, when they make a mistake, it's minimal and not monumental.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
all information that we can collect. It's like content collecting and then putting it out there.
Yeah,
Not all the content is going to have the effect that we would like to see it have, but there will be, not maybe, there will be one or two things that people can grab from it. And if we can touch, 5 people, like I spoke to you,
yeah,
that's amazing. 5 and more. If we can touch 3 people, good. If we touch one person, job is done. So, Lucy,
absolutely.
I've got one more that we're going to do today. Now that we've got the system up and going, we're going to reach out over to Australia when we're done with you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm a busy
I
guy
really,
today.
honest to God, I've got so much admiration for you. So
Thank
inspiring,
you.
and it's you're absolutely amazing. It's been so nice to speak to you and to have some of your time. So thank you so much.
No, thank you too. And I appreciate you taking this time out. Like I said, I know it's nighttime where you are, being that the time zones are so different. But it's just been good. And we're going to post this up together, because I'm going to send you some of the shorts, and then you can post them on your site. And this will help you along your journey of, helping others and staying in recovery mode and being the great counselor that I know you will be.
Absolutely.
We'll
Oh,
circle
I'm
back
going to
around.
shout your name from the rooftops. Let me tell you.
I appreciate that. Same here. I'm going to do the same for you, but we'll be active with each other through social media. And when you get a chance to, send me your email too, because I want
Yeah,
to send you some stuff through the email. I think that'll be a better way for me to do it. And I'll continue to connect with you through DMs and making phone calls with you. But let's continue this journey and this mission of
this mission.
enlightenment, increasing our strength by doing what we need to do through our day-to-day routines to continue to live the life that we're living, so we can be healthy, we can be strong, and we can continue to help others, and
Yeah, absolutely.
fight the good fight.
That's right. Well, thank you
All
so
right.
much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You too. Take care, Lucy, and be well.
And you. See
All
you
right.
later.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.